The misconception of kindness. Kindness is a virtue. This is what we are told throughout our lives, as if kindness should be indiscriminate, a blanket we spread over the world in every situation. But in Stoic philosophy, kindness is not always the answer. The Stoics remind us that virtue is not about being pleasing or avoiding confrontation. It is about living in harmony with reason, truth, and justice. There are moments in life when being kind is not only unnecessary, but harmful to ourselves, to others, and to the greater good. These are the situations where kindness must be withheld for the sake of virtue, integrity, and our growth. Stay with me through this journey, and by the end, you will understand why there are times when kindness is not just a weakness, but a betrayal of your values. And if you find this path to strength resonates, make sure to subscribe and share your thoughts at the end. Chapter 1. When kindness enables evil. Imagine you see someone acting with cruelty, manipulating others for their gain. They are charming on the outside but destructive behind the scenes. Should you be kind to this person? Should you turn the other cheek and let their actions go unchallenged? Seneca tells us, "He who does not prevent a crime when he can, encourages it." Stoicism teaches us that kindness in the face of evil is not virtue, but cowardice. We cannot allow our desire to be liked or avoid conflict to enable harm. If kindness shields wrongdoers, it becomes complicity. There are moments when withholding kindness is a stand for justice. When we face malevolence, we must confront it with courage, not kindness. We do not have to be cruel, but we must not allow evil to thrive by staying silent or being agreeable. In life, we must discern when to confront, when to speak truth, and when kindness would simply fuel the flames of destruction. Chapter 2. When kindness breeds dependency. Think about the person who constantly asks for help, but never makes an effort to improve themselves. You give them advice, resources, and support, time and time again. But they continue in their ways, becoming dependent on your kindness, using it as a crutch. Epictetus tells us that freedom is the only worthy goal in life. In situations where our kindness creates dependency, we are robbing others of their freedom. We are preventing them from growing, from learning to stand on their own. There is a fine line between helping someone in need and enabling their inability to help themselves. When kindness keeps someone in a state of weakness, we must withdraw it, not from malice, but from a place of wisdom. In Stoicism, true compassion sometimes means letting someone struggle so that they may develop the strength to rise on their own. Chapter 3. When kindness is manipulated. There are those who see kindness not as a gift, but as a tool for their own ends. They wear masks of vulnerability or charm, using your generosity for manipulation. In these situations, kindness is not only wasted, but dangerous. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." If we allow ourselves to be deceived, to have our kindness twisted into a weapon against us, we are betraying our own integrity. The Stoics teach us to be vigilant, to see through the masks that others wear, and not to allow kindness to cloud our judgment. We must recognize when we are being used and withdraw from these manipulative entanglements. Not all who seek kindness deserve it. True strength lies in recognizing when someone's need for kindness is a facade for manipulation and having the courage to walk away. Chapter 4. When kindness weakens your boundaries. One of the key tenets of Stoicism is self-discipline. We are called to guard our inner lives and to set clear boundaries around our time, energy, and mental space. But there are moments when kindness erodes these boundaries, We say yes when we should say no. We allow others to invade our peace because we do not want to appear harsh or unkind. But Epictetus teaches us, it is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. By constantly giving of ourselves, we are allowing others to disrupt our inner focus and growth. If we are always available to everyone, we will be available to no one, least of all, ourselves. True kindness must start within. If being kind to others weakens your boundaries and leaves you depleted, you are not practicing virtue. You are sacrificing your integrity. There are moments when the most virtuous thing you can do is to say no. Chapter 5. When kindness confuses tolerance for justice. In today's world, tolerance is often seen as synonymous with kindness. We are encouraged to be tolerant of all opinions, actions, and perspectives. But Stoicism does not equate tolerance with virtue. There are times when being tolerant, when being kind, is a betrayal of justice. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "To be tolerant is not to turn a blind eye to what is wrong. We must distinguish between what is a difference of opinion and what is an outright injustice. To tolerate harmful behavior, to be kind in the face of oppression or harm, is to be complicit in that harm." Stoicism teaches us that justice is a higher virtue than kindness. We must not allow ourselves to be so tolerant that we become enablers of wrongdoing. In certain situations, being kind is a disservice to the greater good. Chapter 6. When kindness fosters mediocrity. There is a harsh truth in Stoicism that we often avoid. The world is not designed for mediocrity. Yet, in our desire to be kind, we sometimes lower our expectations, accepting less than what is possible, both from ourselves and from others. Seneca advises, "You act like mortals in all that you fear, and like immortals in all that you desire." In this, he reminds us that life is fleeting, and that to settle for mediocrity is to squander the precious time we are given. When we are too kind, when we lower our standards to avoid discomfort, we are encouraging mediocrity. We should not be harsh or cruel, but we must set high expectations. In certain moments, kindness becomes a poison that kills potential. The Stoic path is to strive for excellence, not only in ourselves, but in those around us. Sometimes this means withholding the easy kindness of low expectations. Chapter 7. When kindness betrays your own needs. Lastly, there are situations when kindness becomes a betrayal of the self. We are often taught that kindness means putting others before ourselves, that it is virtuous to sacrifice our own needs for the sake of others. But Epictetus reminds us, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. In Stoicism, the self is sacred, not in a selfish way, but because our inner state is the only thing we truly control. If we give and give to others, neglecting our own needs, we are not practicing virtue, we are practicing self-betrayal. There are moments when we must withhold kindness in order to protect our own well-being. This is not selfishness, but wisdom. We must learn to discern when our kindness is costing us too much and withdraw it in the name of self-preservation. The balance of kindness. Kindness is indeed a virtue, but it is not an absolute one. The Stoics remind us that virtue must always be tempered with wisdom, justice, and courage. There are times in life when withholding kindness is the path of true virtue. We must learn to recognize when kindness becomes a disservice to ourselves, to others, and to the world. In these moments, we must have the courage to be firm, to be just, and to walk the path of Stoic wisdom.